2 years ago, I was in high school bored in class, so I went on my phone and saw this neat little game, Geometry Dash. Now obviously it wasn't the first time I heard of it. A lot of my classmates played it, a lot of people on the internet played it, and now I wanted to try it. So I got the light version and tried Stereo Madness on my phone. After a few attempts, I managed to beat it. I was gonna play more, but the sound of the bell rang in my ears. Weirdly enough, after that, I never came back to it. Until December 12th, 2025. I was scrolling on YouTube when I saw a Geometry Dash short. What was it about? I don't remember, but all I know is that I got curious. So I watched a couple of videos on Geometry Dash. I've seen a couple of clips of the game already, but I hadn't looked at it much till now. One of the first levels I saw in the game was Bloodbath, apparently one of the hardest levels to beat. An extreme demon. Safe to say, I was interested. So the next day, on December 13th, 2025, I bought Geometry Dash on Steam. I really had no goals in mind, since I just wanted to see what the game was about. Little did I know, this experience that I thought would be a one-off would turn out to be a much bigger journey. I started off with Stereo Madness, the first level in the entire game, and I managed to beat it in one attempt. Great! So I played more. I did a couple of the main levels which weren't too bad. Stuff like Back on Track, Polargeist, Can't Let Go, Time Machine, all that. Weirdly enough, I was enjoying the game. A lot. It felt kind of addicting. Eventually, I got to my first obstacle in my entire journey through this game, Clutterfunk. I absolutely despised this level. While other levels took me a couple dozen attempts to around 100 at most, Clutterfunk took me over 300. It was the first level to give me a run for my money. So, I wanted to keep going. I wanted to improve. The best feeling I was getting from the game was improving, doing harder levels, progressing myself. It was an addictive feeling. After Clutterfunk, I did 3 of everything, which wasn't too bad. Though I was getting bored of these main levels, I wanted to do those cool levels I kept seeing on YouTube a while ago. Demons. Those ones. So I went ahead and searched for my first online level. What did I search up? Bloodbath. Listen, I just wanted to try it. Obviously I didn't want to beat it. My expectations were low. And the reality was even lower. I couldn't even get to 5% after a couple hundred attempts, but I really wanted to do this. So I set Bloodbath as my goal. I wanted to do Bloodbath as my first extreme demon no matter what. However, obviously I can't beat it now. I need to improve. I need to train. So, I checked out the difficulties of demons. There are easy demons, medium demons, hard demons, insane demons, and Bloodbath's difficulty, extreme demons. I thought it'd be a good idea to try an easy demon first. So I searched the internet to see which easy demon I should try. I came across one called Speed Racer, which sounded interesting. So let's do it. Speed Racer. This was the first level I thought to be a challenge. It's when I learned that demons were no joke. The ship sections were tough, and same with timing the ball sections. But it was doable. I can do this. Oh! I did it. On December 15th, 2025, 2 days after I started playing the game, I beat my first demon, Speed Racer. It took me a total of 547 attempts. Not too bad for my first demon. After Speed Racer, I went back to the RobTop levels. I did Electroman Adventures, which was really easy, taking me less than 50 attempts. Now, here's the thing. Up till now, I've been trying to get some of the coins whenever doing the RobTop levels. I had more than 10 coins, and I saw this level get unlocked. Club Step. It was labeled as a demon. A demon being in the main levels, I didn't know that. So, I tried it, and I quickly realized how difficult this level was. Searching it up, I found that Club Step is supposedly an easy demon. So, why did this feel so much harder than Speed Racer? However, I did not budge. After all, this was just another test that I'll pass. So I kept attempting Club Step. Looking back, I should have utilized practice mode a lot more. I had been barely using practice mode, and I'd found out the hard way that just raw dogging attempts from zero over and over was not a good strategy. I needed to practice the ship parts a lot more, especially the section at the end with all the gravity inversions. I died so many times here, it is not even funny. And for the first time, I wondered, was this game truly for me? If I'm dying so much to an easy demon like this, can I even get close to beating Bloodbath? No, I couldn't give up yet. After around 1,300 attempts, I managed to get this run. Oh, let's go! Good God! Finally! I hate this level so much. Honestly, after beating Club Step, I wanted to take a break before doing any more RobTop levels. This was also around the time when my Geometry Dash short series was getting a lot of traction, so I saw many of you guys recommend me levels to do, which, thank you by the way. One of the levels you guys recommended me was an easy demon called Platinum Adventure. So, I tried it. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know why this is even a demon. It was so ungodly easy compared to other easy demons, and I was able to beat it in less than half an hour. After Platinum Adventure, I didn't do any more online levels and instead went back to the main levels. I first did Electrodynamics, which introduced speed changes. Some of the ship sections though were way harder than one Insane should be. Other than that, it wasn't too bad and it took me around 102 attempts. After that, I did Hexagon Force, which introduced these illusions? Is that what I call them? Doubles? Whatever. They tripped me up quite a bit, so this took me a good 213 attempts. Once that was done, I did Blast Processing, which was one of the easiest RobTop levels ever. It introduced the wave game mode and the entire level was a cakewalk, taking me 15 attempts. I wonder how this and Cycles are the same difficulty. Lastly, I did Geometrical Dominator. This level introduced the robot game mode, which I found hard to use at first, but eventually got used to it. This took me 98 attempts. Now obviously, I haven't done all the main levels yet, but I could use a little break from them. So, let's do another online level. I wanted to try another easy demon, and since some of you guys recommended it, I tried Shiver. Honestly, this is one of my favorite easy demons I've been. It contained a couple of hard sections, especially the ball and spider parts, but it was also really fun and I love the decoration. GG's. This is such an awesome level. This level took me a good 320 attempts. You know, I think that's a little too much for such an easy level, but whatever. We rolled with it. Also, I started streaming this on both my YouTube channel and Twitch, So make sure to follow if you guys want to come join my live streams. Thanks. Anyway, let's go back to the main levels. I did one called Finger Dash, which introduced the spider game mode. It gave me a bit of a hard time at first since I was getting used to the narrow paths and the spider sections, but I managed to beat it in 58 attempts. Then, I got bored of the main levels again. So let's go back to online ones. Again. I went ahead and found another easy demon to do. Decode. Now I thought this was going to be like the other easy demons like Shiver and Speed Racer. Maybe it'll take me a couple of hundred attempts at most, right? Well, something that I failed to realize was that Decode was on the higher end of easy demon difficulty. Shiver and Speed Racer were completely free. This, not so much. What's so hard about it though? Let me take you through the level. It starts off with some easy cube, then hits the player with a pretty difficult ship section, though it does get consistent. After some UFO and slope jumps, there's a wave section which I died a lot in. Then there's a ball section that's not too hard, and after that, things get real. There's a very high speed cube section which looks hard, but nothing compared to the part after that. Let me just show you. This UFO section is at least medium demon difficulty. Why is this in an easy demon? Holy crap. After some more cube, there's another wave, which... this is also like medium demon difficulty. And then one of the worst ship sections I have ever played, and finally, some more cube. Fun fact while googling this level, apparently it used to be an insane demon. How did it go from being an insane demon to an easy demon? I have no clue. I'd say this level was one of the first levels in my journey to test my patience this hard. I needed to beat it, but I just couldn't. What should I do? Well, while I was streaming, my chat told me to try using the up arrow on my keyboard. I'd been playing with the mouse this entire time, so it wouldn't hurt to try the keyboard, right? So, I tried it. Right off the bat, I noticed that timings were much easier and wave was much easier. Though I'll say, ship is a lot better with mouse. But I'll get used to it. I died over and over. Specifically to the UFO part and the wave. Though I was getting better. That same feeling that I craved. Improvements. This is what I needed. So I kept going. I cannot scream right now. It is 5 a.m. in the morning. Decode took me a total of 3,193 attempts. Good God, I suck at this game. But this level definitely gave me a nice skill boost. With this newfound skill, I wanted to see if I could beat my first medium demon. But what medium demon should I do? I looked at some more suggestions from you guys, and one level caught my eye. B. It looked so easy for a first medium demon, and the decoration looked nice. So let's try it. B had some pretty tough timings. It had a few hard spider sections, some ship, UFO, robot, wave, ball, yeah, it contains everything. Being honest, B is definitely one of my favorite levels I've ever done. It just has a different vibe compared to other levels, and the gameplay is super fun as well. Okay. It took me a total of 879 attempts. I don't really know why I found this way easier than Decode, but you know what? I'm not complaining. But I had to stop doing online levels. There are a few main levels that still haven't been beaten yet, and I've been putting them off for way too long. The worst part? They were the demon levels. I had already found Clubstep extremely difficult, so these two could be even harder. But, well, for doing them, I needed to unlock the levels by getting more coins. So I went back to the earlier levels and gathered as many coins as I could. Eventually, I had a total of 20 coins. This unlocked the second demon of the main levels, Theory of Everything 2. Why is there a sequel? I have no idea. Maybe there's a Theory of Everything 3. Anyway, let's do it. The level had quite a few tough sections, but definitely the hardest parts were the ship sections. Like, holy crap! The first one was hard, this one was also hard, this one around 67%, not saying this number intentionally, had a really precise timing, and then, arguably the hardest part of any RobTop level, the 80% ship. This section single-handedly infected me with every disability known to mankind. This section gave me stage 4 terminal illness. I hate this part. I kept feeding attempts on this level, but I was slowly getting more and more consistent. I had gone a few runs to the last wave section. I could do this. This level took me a total of 1,204 attempts. Less than Clubstep. Nice. But there was still one more demon left. I hadn't unlocked it yet, so I grinded more coins till I had a total of 30. This unlocked the third and final demon of the RobTop levels. Deadlocked. Let's do it. Deadlocked definitely gave me a run for my money. I found it much harder than the previous two demons, especially the wave sections. The dual wave at the end should be placed in the deepest layer of hell because, good god. This level took me a total of 1,551 attempts, higher than Clubstep and Theory of Everything 2. But now, I'm finally done every single RobTop level. Wait, I forgot. Dash. Yeah, that's the final level of the RobTop levels that I forgot to do. It's only an insane, it shouldn't take me too long. If I'm being honest, I found Dash to be a very weird level since it looked so much different from all the previous levels. It had some cool camera movements and some very interesting decoration, so I wouldn't say it's a bad weird. The only thing I hated about the level was the fact that it introduced the worst game mode in the game. Swing. Swing is horrible. Swing is garbage. I hate it. But other than that, Dash was pretty cool. It took me a good 65 attempts. Anyway, now I've beaten every main level. So it's all online levels from here. Let's see how this goes. I started off by doing a few more easy demons to get myself warmed up. The first one I did was the Nightmare, one that many of you guys recommended. Did I find it easy? Yes. Did I like the level? Not at all. The colors were just really bad, the gameplay was iffy, honestly it just sucked. It took me a good 117 attempts to beat it. I wish it could have been lower, but we roll with it. Next, I did Red Alert. At the time I tried this level, it was the weekly demon, so I decided, why not, and hopped onto it. Red Alerts was actually a pretty solid level. It had a little bit of every game mode except Swing, thank god. I also just liked the theme of the level. The gray and red was fun to look at. Overall, nice level. Now, I was done warming up. My hardest was still B, a low tier medium demon, but that didn't sit right. It had been my hardest for quite a long time, so let's go for a new hardest. After some thinking, I made the executive decision to start trying to beat 9 circles. Yeah, beat to 9 circles was quite a jump, but I still wanted to try it. If you somehow didn't know, 9 circles is a very iconic low tier hard demon that basically started an entire trend of 9 circles levels. Since it was so iconic, I thought it'd be fun to do. Let me take you through it. It starts off with a pretty easy cube section, then hits you with a very difficult ship section. Already I'm finding it harder than anything I've done in the past. After the ship is a ball section which looks hard at first, but gets consistent. And then, the wave. If there's any part about 9 circles that makes it so iconic, it is the wave. There are narrow gaps, tons of flashing lights that would kill anyone with epilepsy, and inverse portals that make me want to smash my keyboard. Finally, after the wave, there's a memory cube section that I definitely didn't die to. Ha 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 ha. This level is way harder than anything I've done in the past, and it definitely showed, but I wasn't backing down. I've been at this for quite a bit, so let's take a break. So I went ahead and did an easy demon. Which one? IS. I know, a weird name. I really like the colors, and I had a couple of spider sections that I actually enjoyed. No way. Me liking spider? Holy crap. For some reason, I kept dying to the wave at the end even though it wasn't really that hard. But after a while, I did beat it. It took me a good 381 attempts. Anyway, back to 9 circles. I focused on specifically practicing the wave since I really wanted to get that down before actually trying to do attempts. I even used the Eclipse mod to enable layout mode, which allows me to see levels without decoration. It made it much easier to practice the wave without getting flashbanged every millisecond. And I got bored. So let's take another break and do another easy demon. This time, Death Moon, recommended by my stream chat. Now I know everyone loves this level, so I don't really know why I got so damn tilted at this level. Maybe it's the trash hitboxes in the mini wave or that weird UFO section after the auto cube section. It's a good level. I just got really tilted for some reason. Also, something to note, this level was really long compared to all the other levels I've done. It's my first time doing an XL level, so that made it interesting. It took me a good 703 attempts. After that, I practiced 9 circles even more. Again, specifically the wave section. Once I thought I had practiced enough, I started doing attempts from 0 just for fun. Okay, new best at least. But interestingly enough, I managed to get really consistent and far. Okay. I got this. Come on. I got a best of 79%, so maybe I could beat this soon, right? To get some more wave experience, I took a step back and did another easy demon called Problematic, which is a 9 circles level. To be honest, I don't really know why there are so many levels that copy 9 circles. Maybe I just haven't been in the GD community long enough, but it seems a little unoriginal. Anyway, Problematic was interesting, to say the least. I'd definitely say it improved me at wave, but good god, why do all the 9 circles levels have to flash you? I hate it! It took me a good 652 attempts. Not bad. At this point, I had to stop taking so many breaks to do other levels. It was time to lock in on 9 circles. So I practiced. And practiced. I got even better at the wave to the point that I had managed to do the entirety of the wave in one go. This is it.
$91. Okay.
On December 13th, 2025, I played Geometry Dash for the first time. On December 25th, 2025, 12 days after starting to play the game, I had beaten my first hard demon, 9 circles.
I did it! Oh, okay. God damn it, bro. Killing me. 4,800. I mean, I guess that's fine.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like this level. It was good in some parts, but the decoration completely ruined it for me. But that's just my opinion. Maybe other people like getting flashed. That sounds a little wrong. But one question now stands. What's next? Well, I had already chosen what my next hardest was gonna be, but save that for later. I didn't want to go to my next hardest right away, so I took a step back and went for a few more easy demons. I saw one called May Mori, which looked interesting, so I tried it. Turns out, obviously it entirely relies on memory. It had some fairly difficult cube sections that I eventually got used to, along with some pretty notable wave sections. 335 attempts. Not bad. Next I did X, which had a little bit of every game mode. Cube, wave, ship, ball, robot, the other stuff. Now a lot of people like this level. You'd think I'd like it too, right? Nah. Just like Death Moon, I thought it was a pretty good level, yet I just got really tilted at it. I don't know why it happens sometimes, maybe it's just random. I think part of the reason was how unlucky I got with this level, since I got above 90% multiple times before beating this level.
Kill me! Kill me!
It took me a rough 838 attempts. Anyway, I was getting bored of easy demon after easy demon, so why not try a medium demon? I saw many of you guys suggest one called Skeletal Shenanigans, so let's try it. And after trying it in practice mode, I didn't do it. Now, why is that? I just didn't like the amount of decoration it had. Maybe it's just me, but it was really hard to understand what was going on sometimes. So I didn't want to do it. Don't get me wrong, the level looks awesome, but it'd feel like a hassle to play, at least for me. I felt like I was done with my warm-up for my next hardest level. I was ready. At least, I thought I was. Now, what was this really hard level that I wanted to do? Acropolis. An insane demon. It was one of the first levels I found when searching for insane demons, and when seeing it, the level piqued my interest. The reason I liked it was how little decoration it had, unlike the flashing lights that many other levels had. 9 circles. I felt purely skill based, but looking back, I should have maybe done a slightly easier insane demon. When compared to other insane demons, Acropolis stands at around a mid-tier insane demon. It definitely would have been better to do a lower tier insane demon, but just like always, we roll with it. Let me take you through it. Acropolis starts off with a cube section. Now what's neat about this cube section is that everyone agrees that it is much harder than the rest of the level. Everyone even says that the cube section belongs in an extreme demon, and I agree. After that is a ball section that you need to be really precise with, and some ship that you also need to be precise with. Then there's some more cube. Thankfully it's not nearly as hard as the first cube section, though it's still a little difficult. Some more ship, and you get sent off to the UFO section, which, although not as hard as the first cube, is still probably harder than the rest of the sections. At least I found it that way. Some more ball, and then you have to pass this weird transition that I died at least 1,000 times to. After a few spike jumps, you go into the final section, the wave, which is 10 times easier than the rest of the level. This has to be one of the most unbalanced levels in the game. Holy hell. There's an extreme demon level section in the beginning and a wave at the end that might not even be medium demon difficulty. That's it for Acropolis. Let's get into my experience. This level might have given me the first slump I've went through in this game. With levels like Club Step, B, even 9 Circles, I had felt myself progressing from the beginning. With Acropolis though, this was so much harder than anything I've done. It felt like I wasn't making a lick of progress. It genuinely felt like I was banging my head on a brick wall. It couldn't end here, right? I had to keep going.
Whoa! 69. Wait, that's actually awesome. That's actually awesome. What the hell? Whoa! Wait.
And finally, some progress was showing. I had managed to get a fluke run of 69%. However, other than that, I was doing terribly. So I decided to check my attempt count. Maybe I was at around, what, 5,000 attempts? 6,000 attempts?
Whoa, that is way more than I thought. Holy crap, what? I thought I was at like 8,000 or something, bro. What? Good God. That just gave me a reality check.
Over 11,000 attempts. What in the actual hell? I suck at this game. I needed to do something about this, so I decided to make a few new preparations. First off, my keyboard kind of sucked. I wanted to use another input device that could help me be more precise. So, I bought the Sio device. The Sio device is a mini keyboard that was apparently supposed to be used for a rhythm game called Osu, but people from the GD community also started using it. It's pretty cheap, so I thought it was worth it. Now, what's the difference between this and a normal keyboard? This thing has something called Rapid Trigger, which I think makes your clicks more precise or something, maybe faster, I have no idea. All I know is that it's better, search it up yourself. I tried it out and it is so worth it. I was able to control ship better and wave better and click faster. Overall, it's just easier to use. Now, the second preparation I made was, I stopped practicing with practice mode. Instead, I installed a mod called Start Position, which allows you to switch between different positions of a level. It made it a lot easier to practice levels and beat them faster. So I started practicing the level with Start Position. I managed to get an amazing run of 15 to 100% before going back to doing attempts from 0. Maybe this is doable.
What was that? I just bounced off the thing. Okay, bro. Yes! Yes! Let's go! This gave me an aneurysm. This level made me pregnant. There you go, here's attempts.
On December 30th, 2025, 17 days after starting to play the game, I beat my first insane demon, Acropolis. This level felt like a test, but I improved so much from it. I got better at extremely precise clicks and timings as well as controlling with the ship. But what's next? Before doing anything else, I needed a break. So, I customized my icons. I had just been using the blue and white color scheme the entire time with default icons, since I was too lazy to do any customization. But I figured it would be a good time now. Using mods, I hacked all the icons into the game. Oh no, boo-hoo, I cheated. It's just icons and I don't care. I used the blue and purple color scheme, scrolled through some icons, and eventually I came up with this set. Honestly, I absolutely loved it. Anyway, what's next? I thought it was finally time. The level I've been chasing all along. Bloodbath. This is a very big jump. Acropolis is a mid-tier insane demon, while Bloodbath is in the top 700 extreme demons. I know I should at least go for a low-tier extreme demon, but I was just really stubborn. I absolutely wanted Bloodbath to be my first extreme demon. Now, can I do this? Let's find out. Let's go through the level. Bloodbath starts with Weo section, which contains some ship gameplay sending you right into a straight fly, with a triple speed ball section right after that that's mostly just spamming. Next is Vermilion section, which is a triple speed ship that I absolutely died a lot in. Suddenly it slows and you get thrown into some more ball gameplay, which I found much easier than the rest of the level. After Vermilion section is possibly the worst thing I have witnessed with my own eyes. Michigan. It starts off with some very precise spike jumps, then a straight fly with possibly one of the worst transitions ever. It goes through some ball, and then the UFO. Michigan's UFO part is considered the hardest part in the entirety of Bloodbath, with this last click apparently being frame perfect. This part made me have multiple aneurysms at once. After a few triple spike jumps, there's some wave, and that's it for Michigan's section. Good god, I hate it. After that is Evasium's section, which has some pretty tight ship, wave, and a UFO, but not too bad. It transitions into Crack's section, which, for me, is by far the hardest part of Bloodbath. Yes, even harder than Michigan. I don't know if I just suck, but the very precise ship gameplay just destroyed me. It gets much easier with Asonic section, with some forgiving UFO and miniball gameplay. The final stretch begins with Etzer's section, with some high-speed UFO and very awkward ship gameplay. I for some reason cannot do this transition into the straight fly. I don't know why. Then there's Havoc's section coming in with some ball and fast-paced UFO, and Giron's section with that stupid ship orb sequence. Finally, GG Boys section has mostly ball gameplay with, of course, a straight fly sprinkled into it because there has to be a straight fly every 5 seconds. Just to add salt to the wound, there's a triple spike right at the end. Great! So I started practicing. Unlike other levels, I started practicing from the end instead, starting with a run of just 90 to 100%. Seeing how start position absolutely carried me through Acropolis, obviously I had a start position copy for Bloodbath. I was making some progress, albeit very little at first. I was practicing mostly everything from 50 to 100%, as I thought practicing the beginning later was better. And at one point, I managed to get a run of 54 to 88%. Yeah, it was the easiest part of the level, but I'll take what I can get. So I started practicing other parts, like Crack's part at 42%. And this is when things started going downhill. Crack was my biggest choke point in the level. I probably put thousands of attempts onto practicing this part alone and I still couldn't get consistent with it. I think I just suck at shit. I also tried practicing Michigan and that also sucks. Both the straight fly and the UFO were the worst, and it was another section I was having trouble being consistent at. I had managed to get a best from 0 to 29%, though other than that, all my attempts from 0 failed specifically because of Michigan. And after a few more days of playing, it felt like I just stopped making progress. I couldn't do it. Why? Nothing was working out. Could I not do this? I had burnt out. I gave up. You know, before I tried Bloodbath, everyone warned me. Don't go from Acropolis to Bloodbath. They were right. I had to stop being so stubborn. So, I dropped it. I needed to train myself. So let's take a step back and do a hard demon. There was one that piqued my interest called Crazy. Interesting name. Overall, I had some tough timings and very fast-paced gameplay, but now with having not only been Acropolis, but also having experience on Bloodbath, this was going to be much easier when I did 9 circles. Both are hard demons, but I have improved. It took me a good 2,053 attempts. A lot, yeah, but not as much as the 4,800 it took me for 9 circles. Crazy was also arguably harder than 9 circles, since I think it's more on the higher end of hard demons, though I might be wrong. So I can confidently say I made some improvement throughout this journey. Now something I found was that Crazy had an entire trilogy dedicated to it. There's a Crazy 2 and a Crazy 3, both of which are insane demons. Though Crazy 2 is on the lower end of insane demons, unlike Crazy 3. So, you know what? Let's try it. Now, although Crazy 2 is supposed to be harder than the first, for some reason it wasn't that hard. If I'm being honest, most of the difficulty was in the first half of the level, while the second half was extremely light, especially the ship and cube sections. There were a couple choke points specifically in the first half, like the wave and spider sections, but overall I found this pretty damn easy. I beat it in around 2,100 attempts, taking approximately 1,900 in the start position, and just over 100 in the actual level. Not bad. So the logical next step would be to do Crazy 3, right? Well, nah. If I'm being honest, I was impatient. If you didn't know, Crazy 3 was actually an extreme demon in the past, then it got downgraded to an insane demon. It is so close to the difficulty of an extreme demon that I might as well just do one instead of it. So what? Am I going back to Bloodbath? Well, not exactly. Again, Bloodbath is very hard for a first extreme demon. I needed to make sure to switch to a lower tier extreme demon. But which one? I considered doing Cataclysm since it looked like an easier version of Bloodbath, but I heard many people talk about how unbalanced it is, so the idea disappeared. Then I saw another level that everyone talked about. It's such a good beginner extreme demon. This is the perfect extreme demon to start with. This extreme demon made me pregnant. Okay, nobody said that last one, but you get the point. This level was Accu, which probably many of you guys expected. As of me scripting this, Bloodbath was ranked 705 on Undertale, while Accu was ranked 1,323. This would be a great starter extreme demon. Hopefully. Let's do it. I hope it doesn't go the same way as before. Here's what Accu has to offer. It starts off with a cube section that is overall hard to time at first, but gets consistent and is overall not that bad compared to the later sections. At 27%, the drop hits and things get real. There's some wave, a couple orb clicks, and you get forced into this duel, which is actually really easy. After that, there's a section with just a bunch of game modes combined. Wave, cube, ball, UFO, robot, all of it. And then, this mini wave. This mini wave is by far the hardest part of the level. Make sure to practice it as much as possible. Finally, it ends with a cube with a couple of really hard precise timings that are hard to get down, mainly when your heart is at 500 beats per second. Now, how did I handle this level? It was definitely difficult, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't Bloodbath bad. This felt somewhat doable. I was already making a good amount of progress. At first, I was more so trying to practice the end, especially trying to get that mini wave down. Otherwise, it would be a massive choke point. The wave right after the drop was also weirdly hard, especially these 2 clicks that I had to spam with the mini wave. I have no clue why I suck at mini wave, but it is what it is. Then I started doing attempts from 0. I can do this. I can beat this. I can beat my first extreme demon. I have to do this. Everything has led up to this. On January 18th, 2026, around 1 month and 5 days after starting my journey, I beat my first extreme demon, Accu.
Good God. Kill me.
After many ups and many downs, it was over. Yes, there were many things I still had planned. Things like my completion of Bloodbath that I had dropped. But I felt like that was for another time. I was already happy with this. But I'll keep going. Maybe I'll beat Bloodbath. No. Maybe I'll go even further.